I suppose when you spend quite a while on a caravan site, it could be a little boring, especially if you're on a small site that doesn't have anything to do. Lots of these big sites have their attractions, but that makes those kind of places a little bit more expensive. So basically on this one, you've got caravans, and that's pretty much it. So to help us with things like exercise and mental health, of course, you need to have something to occupy your mind. When we moved from the original property, I had quite a big garden. It was around 3,200 square feet, and I like gardening. So I had 4 greenhouses on there, 2 12-foot by 8s, 2 8-foot by 6s. I also had raised beds and oak tunnels. One of those raised beds was 35 foot long, which were brilliant for growing all those vegetables in and keeping pests away at the same time. So once we realised that place was gone and we was coming here, it did play my mind a little. What am I going to do? I can't just sit in a caravan. I get too bored, and it's not good for you. So before we even moved here, I got in touch with the site owners and said, would it be okay if I grew a few vegetables outside the front of this van, just to give me something to do? And surprisingly, they said yes, you can, as long as you don't make it look like an allotment. So straight away I thought, the only thing that I can do in that situation is container gardening. You're not allowed to dig up the grass around this van because it's not part of the property that you rent. You've only got a small area all the way around the outside of your van, 2 to 3 slabs wide, but it's still 35 feet long by around 12 feet wide. So if you start doing containers, you've still got quite a lot of room. So after hearing that, I decided to start making plans before we even got here to see just what I could grow in a small container garden, and something that would be really worth my while doing. So obviously part of that plan was to grow things in small containers so it didn't stand out too much. You don't want to offend people when you've only just arrived. So I thought maybe little caravan wash bowls filled with spring onions would be good. Maybe even a few carrots. Lettuce, really easy to grow and well worth it. And so is radish, once again in a little caravan wash bowl, and they're doing amazing. We could also chuck in a couple of dwarf tomato plants to get harvests of really nice sweet cherry tomatoes. Maybe even a few peppers. And surely growing a cauliflower in a little 10-litre pot is not going to cause too much of a problem. This one is doing brilliant. So when I arrived here, that's what I wanted to do. And I was quite pleased that they were going to allow me to do that, because a lot of sites won't. Some sites won't even let you put a few large plant pots outside your van. There's far too many rules and regulations on these big sites. So I started setting up all these containers, thinking it's going to keep me busy, it's going to keep me cogs turning. But better than that, I can save a little bit of money on grocery shopping by growing a variation of different fruits and vegetables. And I think it was about a week or so later that I started setting these things up. And I also incorporated flowers as well. That's going to take the edge off a vegetable garden because you're adding a bit of colour as well. But when the site manager paid me a visit and saw what I was doing, her response to that was, the more the better. And that was the only trigger that I needed to create this. I've basically now turned the front of this van into a full-on flower and vegetable garden. And we've got loads and loads of things growing already. And it only took me a few weeks to set up. And as you can see, we've got quite a lot going on now. We've got celery, cucumbers, strawberries, peppers, onions, beetroot. I've also got full-size tomato plants growing, and they've already got tomatoes on them. We've used this balcony to put a display of flowers on as well. And then we've got dwarf cherry tomato plants in big containers just beneath. And a really good looking container full of French beans. And there's also tomato plants on top of this balcony. And again, they're cherry tomato ones. And another strawberry planter with a pretty good sized strawberry on it. And I've got another obelisk just there, which is growing as pod peas, ready for picking now. And in the planting next to it, we've got more strawberries, we've got lettuce, beetroot, almost fully grown lettuce, onions and carrots. I even bought a propagator for bringing plants on, and that one has got more pepper plants in, and this one has already got 3 peppers growing on it, which is pretty good considering what a rubbish year it's been. We've even got runner beans and a couple of apple trees on the way, more cucumbers and a pot of rhubarb. I love the fact that I can come out in the morning and take an harvest of fresh homegrown vegetables right from outside this van. A couple of sticks of rhubarb, lots of pod peas and some nice looking strawberries there. And that's just the start. We'll never be short a salad while we're growing these. We don't have to go to the shop and buy them. So once again, a massive bonus for us. Being in a position where I can do that is brilliant. The best thing about it is that most of the things that I'm growing will basically look after themselves. So when I'm spending time away from the van, nothing's going to happen to them. They're hardly going to dry out this year. But it's a great thing. When you come back after a few days away, everything is twice the size. We've got things ready to harvest, and that's saving a little bit of money for us. But more importantly, if we stay here for a week or 2 weeks, we don't have to drive to the nearest town, which is quite a few miles away, just to pick up a bit of salad, and not even potatoes, because we've just harvested 3 containers of new potatoes, and they were also only small containers. But between them, we've got over £8 of potatoes, so that's brilliant. And as you've just seen, we've got lots and lots more on the way. As soon as these temperatures improve and we actually get some sunlight, we're going to start getting ripening tomatoes, because we have got a few on plants at the moment. They're just a little small and they're still green. So for me, this place is far from boring. It's not just rows and rows of caravans. If you make a little bit of an effort and you're allowed to do that, it's surprising what you can grow just in a few containers. So once again, that helps us save a little bit of money, keeps us busy, and it also looks quite colourful as people pass on a daily basis. Anyway, thank you so much for being part of the channel once again. I really do appreciate it. And if you'd like to see more caravan videos like this, then please hit that subscribe button, press that notifications bell, and I'll see you on the next update. Take care.